Jain friends, myself Sachin Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Akgec you can call it. In the today's session, we will discuss the complex topic super keyword and final keyword. So, these are the outlines of today's lecture. Firstly, we will discuss inheritance to understand super keyword and final keyword role. Then super keyword, then super and hiding, final keyword, and preventing overriding with the help of final keyword and preventing inheritance with the final keyword. So these are the outlines of the today's lecture. So what is inheritance? Inheritance is the process of extending a class in object-oriented programming, and a class that is inherited is called as a superclass, and the class that is inheriting is called as a subclass. The class that does the inheriting is called as a subclass. Subclass inherit all the instance variable of a class, all the method of a superclass, and subclass and superclass have a relationship that is a kind of relationship. So class that inherit that is inherited is called as a superclass, and the class that will inherit is called as a subclass. To inherit a superclass by subclass, we use a keyword called extends. So to inherit a class, we use extend keyword, and it can only have superclass for any subclass. But in other programming language, inheritance have many types, in which multiple inheritance is a type of inheritance that is not supported in Java. So multiple inheritance is a type of inheritance that is not supported in Java, but it is supported in other programming languages. So let's see an example of inheritance. The first type of inheritance is called as a single level inheritance. For example, I am having the class A, and there are instance variables x and y of this class, and there is a method called get. Now in this method I am passing two arguments p and q, and further I am assigning x equals to p and y equals to q, and the method is returning value 0. So that's why this return type is integer. The same class have another method called show method, and I am just printing this x value in this method, right? So there is another class called b, and that extends the class A. So here b is a subclass and class A is a superclass. So in this method, I am creating an object of this A class A, and I am accessing the method that is defined inside superclass. So get is defined here, but I am accessing this get here in the child class, or you can say subclass. So get is a method of parent class, and show is a method of parent class, which is accessed inside the child class. So here there is only one superclass, one child class. So the type of inheritance is single level inheritance. Another type of inheritance is multi-level inheritance. So here we can see that here is a class A, here is a class B. B is extending the class A, and here is another class C, and C is extending a class B. So there are three levels. Class A is a class, class B is another class, class C is another class. Here B is extending class A, or C is extending class B, and the method get is defined inside what? Class A. The method show show B is defined inside a class B and the method defined in class C is displayed. Now, all these methods are called with the help of object of C class. So this type of inheritance is called as a multi-level inheritance. So now the question comes: Can I access the method of a superclass inside the child class? So the possibility is yes, and this can be done with the help of super keyword. So the next topic is super keyword. So super is a keyword that is used to refer to hidden variables of a superclass from the subclass. If I want to access the keywords, if I want to access the variables of a superclass inside the subclass, then we can use the keyword called super keyword. So here an example: super.a. A is defined inside the superclass, and I'm accessing this value inside the subclass. Another possibility of superclass, another rule of superclass is it is used to call a constructor of superclass from the constructor of the subclass without subclass, which should be first statement like this. I will write like this: if there is a method having the same name in its superclass and in child class, and I want to access the child class superclass method inside the child class, then I can use the constructor like this. Another usage of super keyword is it is used to call a superclass method from subclass method to avoid the redundancy. So we will use like this. So add numbers is a method of superclass, and add numbers is the method of child class as well. But in child class, I want to access this one, so I will write like this: super dot. So these are the usage of super keyword. Now, super keyword basically hides the variables or methods. So super and hiding. So why super is needed to access superclass members? So when a subclass declares the variable or a method that has the same name as its superclass have. For example, so at that time we need super keyword to access superclass variables or method inside the subclass. So let's see an example. There is a class A, and in class A there is a variable named I. Now B is extending class A, and B also having variables with the same name as its parent class I equals to. When I will print this I, it will print the value 2. But if I want to access this value I, that whose value is 1, inside this class B, so I will use the keyword super. So let's see another example. Here is a class A. Here is a variable I. There is another class B that extends A, and there is also a variable with the same name as its superclass name I. So I want to assign this I value inside the child class constructor. B have the same name as its class name, so it is the constructor of B class. So I'm just writing super.I equals to A or I equals to B. If I am assigning this I equals to B, then this value will be referred, and if I am writing super.I, so this I will be referred here. So void show is another method that just display the values super.I. Super.I value will be displayed of class A, and only I will be displayed on class B. So this is the role of super. Now let's see another example. It is the same example as we have discussed in the previous slide. Here is a class named super class, use super. There is a method, main method here. Here is a class B. B, we are creating the object of B class here, this one, and I'm just accessing the value 1 and 2 that is defined here. This is the same example. Now let's see another keyword called final keyword. The final keyword is used to declare a variable constant whose value doesn't change. And final keyword can also be applied on a methods. So if we will apply final keyword on a method, then method cannot be overridden or overlooked. So final can be used before a variable, or final can be used before the method. So if I will apply final here, this value will never change, or if I will apply before a method, this means this method can't be override or overlooked. If I will apply a final keyword before the name of a class, then the class cannot further extended or inherit. So these are the three usage. Final can be applied before the variable, final can be applied before the method, final can be applied before the class. If variable, then its value will not change. If method, the method will not be override or overlooked. And if class, the class further can't be inherited or extended. So let's see how it will help to prevent overriding. So let's say an example. There is a class A, and I am defining a method named meth, and this method doesn't have any return type, so that's why its return type is void, and applying final keyword before here, before the name of the method. So what it means, if final will be applied before the method, then this method is final method. Further, this method can't be override or overlooked. So if I will write a class B that extends a class A, and the method having the same name as its super class name, then this declaration is illegal, because the above method is final method. It can't be override or it can't be overlooked. So if we want to make a method final, that's why we will put the keyword final before the name of the method. Now final keyword also prevent inheritance, as it can be applied before the name of a class. If I am writing a final keyword before the name of a class, then further a class, subclass that will extend A, so this declaration will be illegal. You can't do like that, because the above class is final class, and that can't be further inherited or further extended. So if we will declare a class as a final, so its all methods will be final. But if a class having not having final, its methods can be final or it can't be final. But if you are making a class as final, so all its method will be treated as a final, because it can't be inherited, and that's why its method will not be used inside the subclass. So that's all about the abstract class and a final keyword. Thank you.